Welcome back, my dear friends, to the video series of how to have happy and fulfilled life. Till now I talked about 3 sins which make us unhappy in our life. In this video I am going to talk about 4th sin, which is being overly control seeking. If you want to watch my previous videos, you can see the link in description below. So let's see about the 4th sin, being overly control seeking. Why overly control seeking lowers happiness? It has to do with psychological reactance. What makes others unhappy makes us also unhappy. No one likes to be controlled. We try to control everyone and everything. I am sure you want to control the TV at your home. Someone might also feel like controlling their husband and wife. They feel that it would have been better if they come with remote. Jokes apart, what I mean to say is when things doesn't go the way we want, it results in anger and frustration. It affects our decision making. We all have diversity of opinion, thoughts, background and skills. There are 3 reasons why controlling of others lowers happiness. The first one is the way we have desire to control others. Others have a desire not to be controlled by us. We all want to be in charge of our own actions and our own life. Not only elders, kids too don't want to be controlled by others. The second reason why overly controlling lowers happiness is when you are high in need of power and control over others, you set yourself up for negative feelings. When others don't behave like the way you want, you get the feeling of anger, depression, disappointment and frustration. The third reason why being overly controlling of others is not good for happiness has to do with the quality of decisions you make. It turns out that we make our best decisions when we are exposed to a diverse set of views and inputs. This is why it is important to surround yourself with diversity of people from varied background and skills. That's when you are likely to get exposure to a diverse set of views. That's also why it's important to surround yourself with people who are not afraid to disagree with you and to speak their mind. When you are overly controlling of others, what's likely is that you only have people around you who will put up with you being controlling. So for all these 3 reasons, 1, people don't like to be controlled and so they won't cooperate with you, or they won't like you if you are over controlling, which of course will lower your happiness. 2, you are likely to get upset and angry when you are high in need for control and others disobey you. And 3, even if you do manage to control others, your decision making will suffer as a result of being over controlling. So being overly controlling is really not a good thing for your happiness. But the fact that being overly controlling lowers happiness level doesn't mean that we should not try and influence or persuade others. Sometimes, and this might happen quite frequently in work settings, that people do want direction and leadership from others. And so seeking some degree of control or influence over other people is actually a good thing. If seeking control over others can be good, but being overly controlling is not good, then the question is, how do you know if you are being overly controlling or not? And how can you find out if your level of control seeking is at the ideal level or in the midpoint? And here I comes up with the 4th habit, and it's called taking the personal responsibility for your happiness. Taking personal responsibility for your happiness means never blaming others or external circumstances for how you feel. It means having the ability to regulate how you feel inside of your mind, which means doesn't matter whatever is the situation outside, I am in full control of my mind. You have to agree with me on this, that our imaginations can have a very big influence on our emotions. We are happy or not depends a lot on what we are thinking. Sadness is usually preceded by the thought that something valuable is missing or lost. Likewise, anxiety is typically preceded by thoughts of being uncertain or out of control. Different thought patterns trigger different kind of feelings. So pride, for example, is triggered when you attribute a successful outcome to your own actions or your own skills. On the other hand, when you attribute a success to someone else doing or to luck, you feel grateful. The fact that different emotions are preceded by different sets of thought means that you can change or control or regulate your feelings by controlling your thoughts. So, for example, rather than feeling angry at your boss for failing to give you a raise, you could actually feel grateful towards him for not firing you. When you are overly controlling of other people or outcomes, you are trying to control the external environment. When you take control of your own thoughts and feelings, you are doing the opposite. You are taking control of your internal environment. There are certain obstacles to taking personal responsibility, mainly two. The first obstacle is a certain kind of pessimism. Of course, you can't be happy for every event of your life, but can you be happy for the everyday routine events which spoils your mood, like getting stuck in the traffic? The second obstacle is a misconception which we have about taking personal responsibility. It is a misconception that if you take personal responsibility for your happiness, the others around you will stop taking advantage of you. The answer is no, not really, because taking personal responsibility for your happiness doesn't mean that you don't hold others accountable for their actions. When you lose control over your feeling, your limbic system takes over the functioning of your brain and you can't able to think as clearly, which means that the decision making is going to suffer. One strategy could be regulating your emotions. There are specifically 4 simple tactics under this strategy for regulating emotions, which are situation selection, labeling your emotion, attention deployment, and cognitive repression. The first tactic, situation selection, is to avoid situations that evoke unwanted negative feelings. The second tactic, labeling your emotions, literally means just that telling yourself that you are feeling angry or anxious. For example, if you are stuck in slow moving traffic and you are getting increasingly frustrated, you can tell yourself, "Oh, I am feeling frustrated." The third tactic for regulating emotion is attention deployment, which means either directing your attention away from the things that negative trigger thoughts. The fourth and the final tactic, which is a tactic that's actually somewhat related to attention deployment, is cognitive reappraisal. It involves reinterpreting situations so that you feel better about them. So my dear friends, with this I end up with 4th sin. See you in my next video, which is about 5th sin. Till then, bye and keep watching my videos. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel to watch my future videos. Have a good day.